Charlie Company, move on the double. We move through the forest at 0400, target objective.
Have you ever heard of a war being won with rubber tanks instead of steel? Have you ever imagined that fake radio signals could force an entire army to change its battle plans? And would you believe that just 1,100 soldiers convinced the enemy they were facing a force of more than 30,000 troops? It sounds like the plot of a Hollywood movie, but this is not fiction. This is the true story of one of the most secret and extraordinary military deception units of World War II, the Ghost Army. The year was 1944. World War II had reached one of its most decisive moments. Allied forces had landed in France, and every step toward Germany was fiercely contested. A single mistake could cost thousands of lives. The battlefield was no longer controlled by bullets alone. Intelligence, deception, and strategy had become just as powerful as tanks and artillery. American commanders knew one thing. If German intelligence discovered the real location of Allied troops, entire operations could collapse before they even began. They needed a weapon unlike anything the world had ever seen. Not a bigger bomb, not a faster tank, but an army that didn't actually exist. An army made of inflatable tanks, fake artillery, carefully crafted radio transmissions, and soldiers whose greatest weapon was illusion. Its official name was the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. History would remember it by another name, the Ghost Army. And what these men accomplished remained hidden from the public for decades. Today, we're uncovering their incredible story. Part 2, the birth of the Ghost Army. In January 1944, the United States Army assembled one of the most unusual military units ever created. Unlike ordinary combat divisions, this unit wasn't built to destroy enemy forces. Its mission was to fool them. The Ghost Army consisted of around 1,100 carefully selected soldiers, but their job was to appear as an entire army of more than 30,000 troops. To make this impossible mission work, the military recruited artists, designers, architects, engineers, radio specialists, and sound experts alongside regular soldiers. Their battlefield wasn't just the front line, it was the enemy's imagination. One of their most famous tools was the inflatable Sherman tank. Within minutes, soldiers could inflate lifelike rubber tanks, trucks, and artillery pieces. From the ground, they looked convincing. From the air, they looked completely real. But visual deception was only the beginning. Powerful loudspeakers broadcast the sounds of moving tanks, trucks, construction equipment, and marching troops across the countryside. These recordings could be heard for miles, convincing German observers that a massive force was gathering nearby. Meanwhile, radio operators transmitted fake military communications that perfectly copied the style of real American units. German intelligence intercepted these signals and unknowingly helped spread the deception even further. Everything was carefully planned. Every vehicle, every sound, every radio message, every fake headquarters. The Ghost Army wasn't trying to win battles by force. They were trying to make the enemy fight an army that existed only in their minds. By the summer of 1944, the Ghost Army was finally ready. Their first major assignments took them across France as Allied forces pushed deeper into German-held territory. Almost every mission followed the same dangerous pattern. The Ghost Army would arrive first. Within hours, inflatable tanks, fake artillery, tents, and military vehicles appeared across empty fields. Engineers carefully arranged every piece of equipment to look exactly like a real combat division preparing for battle. As darkness fell, another phase of the operation began. Powerful loudspeakers filled the night with the sounds of moving armored columns, truck engines, soldiers shouting orders, and heavy construction equipment. From several miles away, it sounded exactly like thousands of troops were preparing for a massive attack. At the same time, specially trained radio operators transmitted fake messages using the communication style of real American divisions. German intelligence intercepted these signals and reported what appeared to be a major troop movement. Everything pointed to the same conclusion. A large Allied force was gathering, but in reality, there was almost nothing there. While German commanders focused on the fake army, the real Allied divisions quietly moved toward their actual objectives. The deception worked again, and again, and again. One of the Ghost Army's most remarkable operations took place near the end of the war during Operation Viersen. The mission was incredibly risky. The Ghost Army was ordered to convince German commanders that thousands of American soldiers were preparing to cross the Rhine River at one location. The mission was incredibly risky. The Ghost Army was ordered to convince German commanders that thousands of American soldiers were preparing to cross the Rhine River at one location. Inflatable tanks were deployed. Fake artillery positions appeared overnight. Radio traffic increased. The sounds of military activity echoed across the river. From the German side, everything looked authentic. Believing a major assault assault was about to begin, German forces shifted their attention toward the fake crossing point. Meanwhile, the real Allied units prepared operations elsewhere with far less resistance. The deception had achieved exactly what it was designed to do. Without launching a major attack, the Ghost Army had forced the enemy to make costly decisions based on an illusion. Every successful mission meant fewer Allied soldiers walking into heavily defended positions. Sometimes, the most powerful weapon on the battlefield wasn't a gun. It was convincing the enemy to believe something that was never real. When World War II finally came to an end in 1945, the soldiers of the Ghost Army returned home, but they couldn't tell anyone what they had done. Their missions remained classified for decades. Families never heard the full story. Friends never knew how these men had served. The greatest weapon they had used was secrecy, and that secrecy continued long after the war was over. It wasn't until 1996 that many of the Ghost Army's operations were officially declassified, allowing historians to uncover one of the most remarkable deception campaigns in military history. By then, the world finally learned how a small group of artists, engineers, radio operators, and soldiers had helped protect thousands of Allied troops, not by overpowering the enemy, but by manipulating what the enemy believed. The Ghost Army did not win World War II on its own, but historians agree that its deception operations helped reduce casualties, confused German commanders, and supported several important Allied offensives. Their story reminds us of something that every great military commander understands. Victory is not always decided by who has the biggest army. Sometimes, victory belongs to the side that controls what the enemy sees. Even today, military academies around the world study deception as an essential part of modern warfare. The Ghost Army proved that imagination could become a weapon, that creativity could save lives, and that an army made of rubber, sound, and illusion could change the course of history. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more hidden stories from history. Because sometimes, the greatest battles are fought without anyone realizing they've already been deceived.
But by making the enemy believe a story that was never true.